Okay, here we go. This is on my coach's corner here.
All right, well, you gave me the captain's chair. I like this. I feel like James T. Kirk.
Yes, he's Kirk.
You know, on the Enterprise on the bridge.
Yeah, I found that thing outside a couple of months ago. Wash it good. Anyway, so I think this is the first time we chat. I lost my case.
Yes.
I didn't know anything about it 2 days ago. I was short up here at night, and suddenly you Facebook me, and this thing you know, the verdict came out on the CBC website at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I got a kick out of that. These anonymous coward jerkface. Oh my God. Well, he lost. Well, he's a loser. Well, and then every time there's a case, St. John or the assault charge, or when they raided this place, well, there had to be some child porn there. Well, and the only time that I lost was that time with the blowhorn, which I was forced to sort of plead guilty, but you learn by your mistake. So, there's no surprise.
No, there was no surprise.
No surprise at all, because I never said a word.
No, you never defended yourself.
I didn't have to defend myself, I just wanted to...
Well, I'll reword it. You didn't.
Usually it's the other way around.
You didn't present your case. You chose, for whatever your reasons were, you had a strategy. And again, why I'm not getting into anything any deeper than that is that if you move forward with this, of course, you know, a person doesn't want to jeopardize anything that's going to come up into the future. But you made a decision not to argue the case. You know, that's like going into the boxing ring and just standing there and letting Muhammad Ali dance around you. I mean, you know, the end result is going to be.
But I didn't like the attitude of the judge. What's her name again? Paulette Garnett? Pauline or Paulette?
I forget her. I forget her name.
Anyway, it's not important. We knew. Now, we know there's going to be an appeal. There's going to be an appeal, no question about it. She showed strong bias. A lot of bias in that room. Right from the get-go. Oh no, it was, see, they're not used to have self-representation, and they have absolutely no patience for that whatsoever. None.
No, and she basically, you know, she recognized that, and she opened up within the first few minutes on day one, when she said, I realized, Mr. LeBlanc, you're at a disadvantage. Self-representing. I mean, this is a paraphrase, this is not verbatim, but that was basically what she conveyed to us. And self-representing, you're at a disadvantage.
And then she asked me if I had a cell phone. I said, I don't have a cell phone. Do you have a cell phone? Right? And she was very rude. And you have a person with a mental disorder like me that's trying to focus on an issue. And next thing you know, they come up with this thing. They always do. They do that on purpose to distract you. Judy Clementing, I remember a couple of years ago. I said, Your Honor, can you raise your voice a little bit more? I can't hear you. Can you hear me now? That's it. I was done. No, kaput, fini. I always seem to have problems with female judges and female cops. Anyway, I'm not male chauvinist pig, but I seem to have problems. I seem to have a lot of problem with both sex anyway. So, last week, I made my decision. I said, hey, there's no way we can continue with this case because the 2 cops that grabbed me on November 8th by the legislator, orders from the 6 cops that I'm suing, grabbed me by the legislator, and people are saying that they want to charge me for $300, that's 5 years in jail. People are saying, well, it's 2 different cases. It's a civil suit, it's a criminal suit. But it's the same individual, and for me, there's no way I could focus without getting angry or, you know, I think it was played out, planned by people higher ups for a distraction.
You know, I'd like to think that that's not how it's done, but
Well,
you never know what happens in behind closed doors.
We're dealing with powerful people.
Yes. You know, I was going back in time, going through some archives. That's what delayed me. Going back to the 80s during the university wars. And the powers to be at that time, Tom Colours was the editor-in-chief of the Daily Gleaner. He wanted to get a position on James Downey's board. You know, anything that he could say against, you know, negative with against John Bosnich, myself, Mike Bennett.
Yeah.
And then when they decided to pull the reins, the whole system all went on board. You know.
That's there. But this thing here.
Well, the game is done the same.
Yeah, almost the same. And it was me to decide. And I think there's really nothing I could do because I wasn't prepared. And the system doesn't seem to be too open to people that's not prepared, even though they send distraction.
Well, one of the things is an email that you sent me, that you received on Regulation 62.
Yesterday?
Yeah, it was all garbled.
Oh my God.
They didn't send you formatted. I mean, this was in both languages.
Right fast. I'll make this in about 30 seconds or less. I went to the court system yesterday. I said, okay, how many days do I have to appeal? How many days do I have? They said, then the courthouse says, oh, we can't give legal advice. I said, I'm not asking for legal advice. I'm asking you how many days it takes to appeal. They told me to go to another room. The woman started talking to me in French. Then the courts is a language you don't understand. So I told her to speak to me in English. I can't understand what she's saying. She spoke to me in English. I still didn't understand what she was saying. I said, we can't give you legal advice. All I want to know is how many days. Oh, no, we can't tell you that. So I went back on the other side. Then I said, okay, here's my email. Sorry, 30 seconds or more. Here's my email. Send me an email. I said, please don't send me 120 pages. And then she said, well, it's in the court, the rule of the court, court. Rule of courts, she said. So I said, listen, I can't read through the rules of courts. And you saw what they sent me. No paragraph, no nothing about this long. I got so mad, I sent that to the Attorney General. In 1 minute, they replied, they told me 30 days I have.
And then after, you know, I seen that copy they'd given you, they say it was just a string of letters, right? And it's just with word wrap, no spacing, nothing. Both languages. And anyway.
And I told her not to.
And I sourced you out the formatted copy. It's a big difference, wasn't it, between the formatted copy?
I even had a hard time to read that, but you know, the words. It's a different language in a court of law.
Oh, it's a whole culture within itself. And that's what law school teaches you, is it teaches you the culture. And it, you know, teaches you. I mean, as Dan Waters, you know, once said in one of your videos, you really only become a real lawyer is when you get some experience under the belt. But, you know, anything before that, you know, it's like being an anthropologist and going to some pygmy town. You know, it's going to take you 3 years to learn the culture, and maybe in 3 years you might even be able to speak the language.
But I got a question. How they want me to pay them $3,000? The city, now the Irving media wasn't there, which for once I wish they would have been there. It looks like they must be higher ups. They were told, okay, enough of Charles LeBlanc. Do not cover anything. Now, if he gets caught with child porn or breathalyzer or bang assault, oh my God, put that in the front page, or even put in the front page on trial for assaulting a police officer, which they already did. But the Irvings weren't there. And from what that judge made it sound, that the police did wonderful work. Nothing illegal was done. They said I was associating, they were investigating a child sexual exploitation offense. They were saying I was exploiting children for sex, and they say that's okay. I say this sends a strong message to the public. Number one, the cops can accuse you of a false charge and raid your place. There's nothing you could do. And two, if you're poor, don't even try to fight them, because you will have to pay.
Well, I agree with you on one point. Law, civil or criminal or any other, it's a money game. Justice. The more money you have, the more justice you have. It's that simple as that.
Dennis Olin.
Yes, his appeals today.
Oh yeah, today they say that the court of appeal did wrong. He should have been released because he didn't stand. He didn't have. There was no threat to public safety, and that he should have been released. So they screwed up when they didn't. They put him in jail. They screwed up. So you could just imagine what that's going to do.
Jeez, how many people are on the old paddy wagon going down to Renews as we speak? But that's the point. He had the resources that he could pull in talent from pretty well anywhere in the world.
Now, what would happen if somebody with money, they would have raided their place and have something like that?
Oh, they'd be one, it wouldn't have gone this way. They would have tried to do everything behind closed doors. Settlements would have been made. They would have tried to keep it as quiet as possible. I mean, that's usually how the game is played with wealthy. I know out of experience with employees. I was working with this one organization, and one of the managers was dipping their fingers into the cash register.
Mm.
And this happens a lot at the upper levels. Where people commit offenses, but the organization didn't want to look like it was weak in the public.
Yeah.
So basically what they offered him, they said, you resign, you pay back the money, and everything is forgotten about.
But if you
get one of these fellows that, that sit by the green parking meter, and they do something, off to jail.
Now the justice system, especially in Fredericton, is very screwed up. And then now they're building a new courthouse for those fancy judges.
Well,
and no provincial jail in Fredericton.
Well, the justice system isn't screwed up if if you have the money.
If you got the money again
to play the game, it belongs to them. It doesn't belong to us.
What do you think I'm going to do? Do you think I'm just going to bow and say, okay?
Well, you're going to think of some strategy. I am not going to try to predict.
No, Asperger's, you're not going to try.
Even to do a probability on what the likelihood is. Step one is, of course, they're going to see,
ground for appeal.
You're going to pursue that avenue and see where that takes you.
Let me tell you something, Monsieur Faust.
Oui, Monsieur LeBlanc.
I'll tell you one thing right now. There is nothing more powerful on this planet than he or she knows that they're 100% right on an issue. Nothing could be more powerful than that. Now, see, bingo, somebody agreed with me. We got the videos. Again, Fredericton Police Force to my internet provider, 2 copies. And it says, Detective Rob Castello. Then we found out during the hearing, it was Bobby Simmons that scratched the name off. We just found that out last week. In accordance with my duties and authority as a peace officer, I am conducting a criminal investigation relating to a child sexual exploitation offense. They told my internet provider that I was exploiting children for sex, and I know I'm not a pedophile. I never thought of exploiting children, and you gotta find the last word, you got it.
Well, there's not much to say there, Charles. It's right now it's wait and see how things are going to develop. As it unfolds, it becomes more complicated and more complicated and more complicated.
And something tells me it's going to get more complicated, more complicated, more complicated. Stay tuned.